What's up, gamers? We finally got him, the ITX hater. We're gonna have this guy build a power efficient SFX build. If he likes it or not.
My day of reckoning has finally come.
The reason I hate ITX builds is because of the price, as you can see by this PC part picker list on the left side. Is that the right side? But also, it is super hard to research stuff. We literally spent months finding these parts, and we still don't know if they're gonna work. And also, it's just like, why even build it? You do all this work, you spend all this money. What's the point? Because it looks cool? I mean, it does.
So today, we face ITX PCs. I thought my 7 years of building computers would prepare me for anything, but not for this.
Because we need to get a fan header there.
Look.
Wait, after all that. These cables. Oh my God.
Also, huge shout out to DeepCool for sending us some parts for this build, a small form factor or a low profile air cooler for the CPU, which you're gonna see how that one went a little bit later.
Yeah, it's gonna be tight, so.
They sent over some parts to put all of the ITX stuff in a bigger case to see what the advantages would be and actually less expensive in the grand scheme of things. So let's jump in. Big thanks to DeepCool. Links are in the description if you want to check out their parts. Will this build be able to change my mind?
We got the motherboard. This was the cheapest motherboard we could get, and then it was still like $250. We got the Gigabyte Aorus what? How many Bs are there now? There's 650 Bs now. You get a really cute looking board, and it has like literally like a freaking skyscraper with these freaking coolers. Yes, they actually managed to fit 3 NVMe SSDs in this board. There's a sandwich between them, and then they also put one on the back. So it's really cool how they do this stuff, but it's like, why engineer that much when you could just make it a little bit bigger? So also, because it's ITX, we've got a lot of adapters. So you got daughter boards, you got motherboards, you got cousin boards, you got the Ryzen 7800X3D. And that's actually because it is so power efficient that it's actually like useful for an ITX build. You have to manage heat. We got the most performance for the least amount of power. You do not want to put an Intel processor in here. I'm not gonna lie, when this thing pops up, it scares me sometimes. Who the heck checks if their RAM fits in their computer case? Well, you have to with ITX because reasons. Because you're in such a small case, you don't have that much clearance in terms of height. So you have to go with a small CPU cooler like this one from DeepCool. Now in this case, you know, DeepCool, you know, being the geniuses that they are, design this that it looks like it might fit, but you might run into compatibility issues with your RAM on your system just because you have to go with a specific cooler. What we're gonna be using to install the CPU cooler is actually my first time ever using this. I definitely got convinced by the sponsor segments on Gamers Nexus videos. For that, this video is brought to you by Thermal Grizzly. And what this is basically doing is replacing the thermal paste for your CPU cooler. Wow, it is tiny. I don't know, it's just gonna sit on there, do that, I guess. No, not the Thermal Grizzly. And the thing about ITX too, it's a little bit different than normal builds. It's that you have to put it together like a Lego set.
And I had no clue just how frustrating this build was gonna be.
You might have to read the enclosed instruction manual.
No, we're gonna mess this up just like Billet Labs, bro.
So far, so good, right, ITX hater?
Oh, I just love this. Oh, here's our entrance from Tony.
A satisfying peel moment?
Wow.
Wow.
Something I did want to point out too. So this cooler here and that cooler over there are actually a very similar price. I'm not even bashing DeepCool for this. That's the thing is like ITX builds, because you don't have a giant volume of people you're selling to, and this thing has to be engineered so much. Although it, like, I can't deny, like, it's really cute.
Come on, let's see their thermal paste.
Oh, they say 5 dots. Ooh.
He has to inspect it. He also shot that at 5 dots.
He's like 5 dots. It's supposed to be an X. You can see like that because of how they have it oriented. It doesn't interfere with the RAM. And what the hell, man? Look at these. What are those called? Tolerances? Jeez, man.
Look at
Is it
that.
even gonna work? So just like level on level of compatibility things. I guess it would probably be a fun engineering project though. I will give them that. Post a little picture in the Discord where I was in a hostage situation. They were saying NVIDIA did that, and they were right. NVIDIA hates this, man. But DeepCool makes this easy because this is gonna be compatible with almost every board. The only problem you're going to run into is height clearance. And this cooler is 67 millimeters tall, and our case is 67 millimeters.
Ooh.
So they're the same clearance. Is it gonna work? I don't know, you're gonna have to find out because we don't know either. Yield-tastic. I'm not sure, wait. Here I am talking about the Lego set. I think you needed to put the NVMe in first. Holy, that is a penetrating screw right there.
That screw got a full metal jacket. Work on to use them.
But this is what's really cool about this board. This is how they're able to fit 3 NVMEs on it. And look, there's another spot for an NVMe underneath the actual spot. It's crazy. They were cooking up madness here. I don't know why you really need 3 NVMEs on an ITX build. That's like something that you know you're gonna be compromising on storage usually. These things are so cute. I feel like I could just, you know?
Yeah.
See how loose that thing is. So the NVMe drive slots in. I know, perfect tutorial. You know how it goes. Click, it's in there. Only the best kitchen foods kill. So you know this thing's messed up. It's only got 3 feet on it.
Hey, we're eating though.
I was moving this motherboard around and it just like dawned on me how freaking dense it was. So we had to weigh it.
1,500 grams. Oh my God. I've got this humongo graphics card here. That was 1,500 grams. This is heavier than that card. You know these things are giant. I actually have to put it in the computer or in the case. All right, should we do this first? Or...
We should probably test if it works.
You know what? That would be big brain.
At this point, like professionals, we decided to test, but we ran into some problems when we tried this.
How are we gonna get this little sucker in?
Oh yeah, that's a CPU power connector. We need to fit that on there, huh? You know, like I know ITX professionals out here are gonna be talking about it. They're gonna be like, hey, you should have done that first, stupid idiot. You're right, but we didn't do that. So we're gonna try to get it on here without taking off the CPU cooler, which is going to be a freaking challenge.
As a professional builder,
Yeah.
just to make sure we don't mess up any wires.
Okay, yeah. So you have to use 2 adapters just to be able to turn on your motherboard. Sticker.
Let's go, sponsor.
You need this stupid daughter board to even turn on your computer. You have to use an adapter to turn on your computer.
It's all cracked and crap.
But when we went to go plug in the front panel I/O, yeah, even the casing around it, because these things are so small, broke on us.
I think it's the red pin too. There you go.
There we go.
Oh, there's lights on it. Let's see if we get an output here.
This is more of a Gigabyte specific problem, but it ain't that good. I ain't gonna lie.
Getting the post. There we go.
It's alive!
Also, you guys saw the little blooper.
We didn't break it.
Kind of broke that.
We gamer rigged it.
All right, now we're gonna be taking this guy and putting it in the freaking case.
Podcast.
It's freaking ITX. We gotta deal. We gotta deal with the accessories. Okay. We'll be using that. This case is kind of special. So you take out this thumb screw on top. Obviously that opens up the top of the case, but there's a screw there, screw there, screw there, screw there. And that means that you can take this out and install the fans up underneath and then put it back in. And here are the sides. Obviously it opens like a freaking suicide door. The thing about ITX cases, they kind of always work like this, is like, you have to be able to take apart everything or else you're probably not gonna be able to freaking build in it. Oh my God, like I'm not gonna lie, like I'm getting a little bit intimidated.
You gotta know what you hate the most, so this is gonna be the test.
This is something you have to think about with ITX builds especially. I mean, cases do have certain lengths of graphics cards that are going to fit, but this case can only do 3 slot cards because of that. I have a ginormous card here. Maybe it'll go in. Oh my God, I don't
think we have the clearance just because right here.
It's so close. I forget how long this card is. I think it's around 310. I guess we're not gonna game on this. We're stuck with integrated graphics. Dude, it says UHG in the name. We need to figure out, I think our first thing is how do we get a power supply in this? The reason we went with the Lian Li Q58. I know everybody's hyping up the Fractal Terra. Everybody's hyping up the Cooler Master NR200. We gotta be different. Why do we have to be different? Well, that's actually because DeepCool sent us this, and this is an ATX power supply. The thing about ITX, you have to use an SFX power supply, which you can see by the size difference here is a lot different. But the thing is, SFX power supplies are really expensive, but it says it can fit it, but can it really fit it? That's where you have to figure out. I gotta disassemble more of the case.
There we go.
That's a little spooky. There's one screw there that's holding that in. Because the power supply in the case has to be in such a weird spot. They have to give you a power, like a cable extension to be able to plug it into the wall, which is clever. At the same time, it's like, oh, that's more money. Here's the ATX power supply. I don't know, a quarter the size of the case.
Basically half.
It works. Look how much space. That looks good. When we picked out the parts for this PC, we did want to pick out parts that did show off the good potential in ITX, because why would you get an ITX case that's big? Thing about ITX too, you do have to think about airflow quite a bit, or else you could really get dramatically different temperatures. I feel like we want this to be an exhaust, right? When it taking air out and pushing it up, gotta grab her. Like, you have to like redefine the way you build a computer. That's like the reason why I'm like, oh, this isn't for normal people. This is for freaks.
Enthusiasts. Don't call us freaks.
My bad. Sorry, my dude.
Sorry, guys.
Motherboard time. I don't know what else we'd do.
You guys do not understand how confusing building in this case was, or at least in the initial impressions. Like, if you haven't built ITX before, you don't know all the weirdness you're about to go through.
This goes against every rule PC building has taught you.
Never make a mistake. That's what...
The first rule is have everything on the board before you put it in.
Something I never thought I'd have to be thinking about, but here we are. I think we install the board first. So we want to install this guy into the case. How does it fit? Do you have to put in the power supply after too?
I swear, us and this motherboard, we were nemesises. Every single time we tried to put it in the case, it just like fought back at us.
We're gonna get there. This is a learning process.
This whole order of operations things to build an ITX PC was just like collapsing in on us and showing us who is a boss, and that no matter how much experience you have to build a PC, you can't just build the PC on ITX. And this is why, one of the reasons why I don't think ITX PCs are meant for like 99% of the population, because of this difficulty factor.
Okay, well, board goes in a lot easier this time. How the f are we gonna get a cable in there, bro?
We gotta route the cables first too?
But it needs to go up, but then the cooler blocks it from going up.
The CPU cooler was even more difficult, and this isn't really DeepCool's fault with the AN600. No, it's just how it lines up with this specific motherboard in this specific case that made this whole process extremely freaking difficult.
Man, there's gonna be tension on it.
Yeah, it's gonna be tight, so... Cause look, this is gonna push back now.
I think we just try to hold it in place while we're doing it.
Okay. Hey, if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, this is something else you had to watch out with ITX, man. It's just like, it depends where your freaking CPU power cable is gonna be too.
You got it?
No.
All right.
I think it grabbed. To me, it looks crooked, doesn't it?
Yeah, more and more over the time, with all of these challenges building up, it started to set in. Is it gonna even work anyways?
It's probably gonna look crooked because the, what's it called?
I think it's bending the heat pipes. But if it's grabbing, then it's gonna make contact. Because we'll only know what the temperatures are. Like, it's crooked in there. See this edge?
All right, now this might be the challenge. Look.
Wait, after all that. After all of that, 67 millimeters. Oh! All right, time to cry. Let's just go past the cooler. No fan.
Bro,
just look.
That case fan's gonna be putting in a lot of work.
For real, dude. Turn in the Gokok 9000, bro. It doesn't, wait, you can't screw it in. Look, you can see it on the side.
You know what they basically just said? Water cooling or GTFO.
Oh, man, it's just like, imagine having a nice cooler and then having to step down to the freaking stock cooler that comes with your CPU.
The temperatures are probably gonna be struggling, especially in the ITX case. Oh boy. Dude, ITX starring aim.
And what's even crazier is the stock cooler barely fit too. They must have built the motherboard for this, because the clearances on it were.
Things are like it really lines up perfectly. Like, let's get the power supply in there now. It's making the daughter board bend a lot. Look at that. That's the front I/O. Like that's necessary.
Yeah.
I just don't know like if this is gonna make the bend, because we need to get a fan header there.
Yeah, I don't think we can.
Because we can't get the fan header on the motherboard in position, we're actually connecting it to the CPU fan, and we're using this fan hub to do that.
Bro, the second build must be way easier than this one.
All right, this is a PCIe riser cable. No, it's in.
It's wire time.
I'm honestly kind of like fed up. Like I don't really want to do cable management. Whatever, I don't care.
I said there, oh, I don't really want to do cable management. But tough luck. You're on an ITX build.
We're gonna have to not judge the cable management. We don't got time. You still gotta install Windows, bro. Look at these cables. Oh my god. This is like people are building the ITX PC in a video and they're just like, yeah, so I did cable management. It sucked. They just skip over it though.
Yeah, I guarantee that took 4 days, 5 days tops.
All right, I mean, they're fitting kind of, but we also need to still get a GPU in there without the cable mess. The 3080. I know it's 350 watts or whatever. It's a lot for ITX, but exactly why I want to test it. Hold the door.
Heave. This is not recommended.
Oh my god.
Don't do this at home.
Exactly. Don't build ITX at home.
We are trained professionals.
Are they coming out the front too?
Oh yeah, they're exploding. Cable management is required.
God. It's in. Oh my god, give me the grease. It's gonna explode. No, the screw fell. Bro, this thing is heavy. You know, I never thought I was gonna ever do this in my life.
Typical ITX hater. Hate what you don't understand.
Oh guys, do you want a little view of it? Oh no, only the best cable man.
Our cable management is second to none. Hey, it looks like a normal PS5 if you ask me.
Oh my god. Let's see if it turns on. This isn't gonna have lights, but if it spins. 2,
1.
You gotta come.
Get that wire.
Wow, it looks so ugly. But it is kind of cool.
In the MITX community, there's people who just leave their computer like this, like open and everything. And say they have a finished build and they'll zip tie like 3.5 drives to the top of it.
You could have just got a bigger case. Lee & Lee sells you $150 case. Also sells you AIO. Another $150. Plus $100 fans. That's
I think
Lee & Lee.
like a 3-pack of the Unis cost like $109.
Jesus.
And I have 9 of them, so.
Yeah, NVIDIA would have sold you a 4060 for that.
That's crazy. No, I would have been lucky. I'd get 4050 and we hid the mess.
You can't even see them. They're not even there. Oh yeah, there's actually peels, by the way. It's like, I mean, it is cute. It's cute. I'll give them that. So yeah, this is me after this process. So this is actually what AI generated. This has been a trial and tribulation. It is now, what time is it? We started this at 11 o'clock. It is now 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
We still have to put this into another computer. We are very tired. The GPU is only getting like 64 degrees. You can see the cooling system with the mesh. It works well. It works well. Actually, with the stock cooler within a gaming load, I'm not sure if this is accurate. It says it's only using 1% of the CPU. So I guess the 7800X3D is just that fast. It's at 65 degrees. It's well, max 69, nice.
I did run some more scientific tests to check the noise, the performance, the temperatures later on in this video, so stay tuned for that. We're gonna put this into a bigger case to see how those two stack up against each other.
You know, it's a shame we couldn't use this one, but it is what it is. There's obviously other downsides to this, like it costs a lot for this case. I'm not gonna sit here and say that this case is low quality. I think you actually get good value for $150. You know, it's $150. We're gonna check that out in a bigger case and one that's actually only $60. Yeah, it's almost a third the price of this one. It's funny, we just took apart the ITX build, which the case is over there on the ground, and then put together this PC. That took about less than an hour.
Like what, 15 minutes?
Yeah, I know our cable management isn't good here, but it wasn't good in the other case either. So. Yeah, but you can obviously see we get 3 fans in the front. That's helpful. Obviously, you get more fans, you get better cooling. It's better priced, easier to build in. I don't know what to say. For 95% of people, probably more, this is the better option. And I'm still gonna hold true to that. I see the advantages with ITX. I kind of want to compare, like, what is the footprint? The footprint isn't that much different. Yeah, but in terms of volume, yeah, this is probably double the volume, maybe more. That's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, props to you, DeepCool.
I think we should change the wallpaper.
Guy happy, thumbs up. Oh my god, his eyeball. Where's it going?
Let's give him money.
Oh wait, go back to his thumb. Wait. What the hell? Where is it? Where's his thumb going? Guys, this is us now. Because we're building in Micro-ITX.
I'm not sure how he's building it, but...
Yeah, he's definitely building it. This is us. How is that fan? How is that fan even there?
See, look, his CPU, he has an AIO. It uses wind.
CPU.
It uses Bluetooth to cool it.
I'm just standing here, I'm like, okay, it sounds a lot quieter. But if we do check out the temperatures, you know, with the stock cooler and the GPU running at full blast here, we're actually getting a little bit more on the temperatures. I wouldn't say it's 75 degrees. It was 73 before.
What's actually really funny about this Micro-ITX build is because we were used to not being able to use the fan header on the motherboard, we ended up using a ton of fan splitters in order to power those 3 different fans in the front and the fan in the back. So that meant with the AK620, the big beefy air cooler on it, that we ended up with 6 fans on 1 header on the motherboard. They weren't really running at full speed, and that was actually affecting our temperatures, which is just like kind of a stupid mistake, but at the same time, we had been building computers for like 12 hours at that point. Like, honestly, yeah, that was too much. So I did rerun these tests, and across the board, each of these setups were getting 89 FPS. However, the noise and the temperatures were decently different across the different components, because the highest temperature of our CPU was actually in the Micro-ITX case with the stock cooler. On all of the other cases there, we used the AK620, which is the big giant air cooler, and we also used the AN600, which is the low profile air cooler. In both of those instances, the CPU temperatures were lower and the GPU temperatures across the board were about the same. However, though, the noise difference between each setup was pretty different. So the quietest one was actually with the stock cooler on the CPU within the Micro-ITX case. The loudest instance of this was with the small form factor computer with that stock cooler on it at like 47 dB. It was pretty loud. That means if you actually put this into context, is like 60-ish% louder. And this gets pretty annoying when it's on your desk.
Okay, it sounds a lot quieter.
And then if we jump into another test, everything was maxed out. The loudest setup here was with the small form factor PC once again, which was like at 49 dB compared to the quietest setup with the stock cooler on the Micro-ITX build at 41 dB. So there's a huge noise difference between these, and I was surprised by how well the low profile cooler from DeepCool did. The AN600 was at like 42.5 dB. So the CPU temperature that you're able to use larger coolers in with the Micro-ITX case, the temperatures were a little bit lower, but aren't that significant. But when you take into account the clock speeds that the CPU was running at, that means because the temperatures weren't as bad, it was able to clock higher. And in certain cases, this will translate to more performance. The GPU temperatures were actually about the same, and the GPU was clocking about the same. So it seems like in the small form factor case that using that little compartmentalized system where the GPU is in its own chamber, sucking in its own air and everything, is actually a very good setup to keep the GPU cool and isolated from the rest of the PC. You also have to take into account that these setups that actually performed better was cheaper because the case itself didn't cost as much. You can get a very budget air cooler and get better results than you could in a small form factor system, because in that small form factor case, you're limited by the height clearance and the compatibility with certain motherboards or RAM, or even, yeah, it can be quite a task to figure out what's going to work. And then it also might not allow your CPU to perform as well as it could. Small form factor PCs are an enthusiast thing where for 99% of people, probably shouldn't be using a small form factor PC, but I do see the appeal. It was really cute to build in, and it feels very tight, compact. It's really like dense and stuff like that. It feels very expensive.
Bro, this thing is heavy.
If that matters to you at all. But yeah, it's definitely a task building in it. You saw throughout this video that it was a absolute challenge, and I don't think I would ever personally build one again. Who's the wiser here? Hopefully you learned something from this building in this, and thanks to DeepCool for sponsoring some parts in this. I'll leave links to it below because I really liked their air coolers. They gave us some power supplies to work with to build in these computers. If you're interested in DeepCool components, they're usually pretty affordable. They're good from what I can tell. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video. Y'all have a good one, and peace.
No, I gotta do like the upbeat. Hey guys, I finally found him. What? ITX hater. Shut up, you don't question me.
Came over to 11, right?
Yeah.
It's 6.
ITX takes your time.
And it takes the children. And then she took my money. Yeah, now we need the like sad and depressed man. And according to Gamer Nexus, this is a very good CPU cooler.
DeepCool AK620 actually does really well.
Take it with a grain of salt, they are gamers.
I hope I don't get in a hostage situation again.